Live at Daybreak, this is 13 News Now.
It's a problem popping up every time it rains. Flooded streets and yards in Norfolk.
Right now at Daybreak, the proposed projects to fix that problem.
SWAT standoff, the search for a suspect that upended a quiet Chesapeake neighborhood.
And looking live now over the traffic network, we have a brand new list of the safest cars on the road. Good Thursday morning to you. I'm Ashley Smith.
And I'm Andre Sr. Lucy continues her time off with baby Nicholas.
That's right. We're going to get started with this half hour, checking out the weather, the latest wet round. As you look at the radar here, rain moving across the area, but we are getting a little bit of a break.
Let's get more information now with meteorologist Tim Pandages, who has big words to describe what's happening today.
I'm going to use smaller words for this segment, guys. All right, let's look at live radar this morning. We do have a very narrow line of some showers moving on through Isle of Wight and pushing through eastern parts of Surrey County right now.
You can expect in just a couple minutes.
All right, Christina, thank you. It's a problem plaguing Norfolk now, and officials warn it could get even worse.
Yeah, spend enough time here and you know exactly what we're talking about, flooding. And now the Army Corps of Engineers wants to use Norfolk as a model city when it comes to holding back the water.
Elise Brown is live and get with what the Corps is considering now. Hey, Elise.
Hey, good morning, guys. So flooding is such a headache for many people across Hampton Roads, including here in Norfolk. Right now we're on the Hague and we've seen whole benches disappear out here. So let's talk about what the Army Corps of Engineers wants to do to help alleviate this flooding. They're starting a study. According to our partners at the Virginia Pilot, the Corps is considering the impact of installing a permanent flood wall, closing the Hague off from the Elizabeth River. It's also reviewing a surge barrier for different parts of the city. The group also wants to make Norfolk its model city when it comes to addressing coastal flooding. It's also looking at the Lafayette River and Lambert's Point. Now, it'll be at least 10 years before any of these ideas come to fruition, but they want to get ahead of everything to keep Norfolk afloat. Live in Norfolk, Elise Brown, 13 News Now.
All right, Elise, and when the floodwaters rise, turn to the 13 News Now app for the latest weather alerts, breaking news, and more. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play.
And now to news breaking overnight. A man shot in the back while behind the wheel. That's according to Newport News Police. Investigators say this happened around 9:30 last night in the city's East End. Someone fired several shots at the man's car. One of those bullets struck him. He kept on driving until he stopped on West Mercury Boulevard and called for help. Now, we are told he is expected to be okay.
Another shooting investigation, this time in Norfolk, and that is where a man is hanging on to life after he was shot in Berkeley last night. Police say officers and medics found the 25-year-old badly hurt on Walker Avenue around 8:30. Medics are calling his injuries life-threatening. Detectives are looking for leads in both of these cases. If you have information, call the crime line 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. And remember, your anonymous tip could earn you $1,000.
Drive slowly, exit the building with your hands up, comply with all commands.
Very tense moments in a Chesapeake neighborhood. 13 News Now was there as SWAT teams used what appears to be flashbangs in their search for a bank robbery suspect. Now, police say a man robbed the Wells Fargo on North Battlefield Boulevard yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, the robber ran off and police tracked him to an apartment on Loose Strife Place in Riverwalk. The SWAT team negotiated with the suspect for several hours while neighbors waited half the day to get back to their homes.
It's all brand new to us because this is usually a quiet community and everybody's really nice.
It all came to an end around 8:30 last night when the accused robber finally came out. Police identified him as 25-year-old Jemsey Bennett. Charges are pending.
Well, later today, family and friends will gather to remember Caitlin Duffy. A wake will be held for that Chesapeake teen killed in an accident last week. Now, Caitlin was driving back from the beach with a friend last Friday, and police say a delivery truck driver crossed the center line and hit them. Caitlin did not make it. Now, the truck driver, 31-year-old Gerard Johnson, is accused of being under the influence at the time of the crash.
Okay, speak with Shane, please.
What you're listening to is audio of a congressional candidate allegedly body slamming a reporter. And this morning, the charges he is facing on an important day for his campaign.
Plus, medical marijuana for kids, where the experts are calling it a game changer for children living with epilepsy.
And we continue to follow breaking news out of Dallas this morning. A police chase involving an RV comes to a fiery end. We just got an update from officials, and that is coming up on Daybreak. Good morning to you. Your time now is 6:44. We are checking traffic and weather together 6 times an hour. A live look at the radar right there. Not as bad as we saw yesterday. Some of the rain in our area moving out. Tim has a look at the forecast in just a couple of minutes.
But first, we do have an update to that breaking news in Dallas. This RV, you can kind of make it out a little bit further away from the camera shot there, reduced now to a charred shell after a chase comes to a fiery end. So again, these are live pictures from along I-30. Police chased the RV for several miles. Smoke started pouring from the RV and then flames. And this is earlier video here. Our sister station reports that a suspect, a woman, and 2 children were aboard. They had to be rescued. Right now, we are working to find out how this whole thing started. Look for updates as we get them. But now, President Donald Trump continues his international trip in Belgium later today. Mr. Trump is slated to attend the first meeting of NATO in Brussels.
Yeah, he considered pulling out of the pact, saying other countries weren't paying their fair share. Earlier during his trip to that country, President Trump met with the Belgian king and queen. Trump is also slated to meet with European Union heads, another institution he has previously criticized. Good Morning America is in Belgium this morning as Donald Trump continues his first international trip as president. Look for a live report coming up at 7 o'clock here in less than 15 minutes right after daybreak.
Well, new this morning, a Montana congressional candidate faces assault charges after a confrontation with a reporter.
But there's not going to be time. I'm just curious if you have
speak
right
with
now.
Shane, please.
But you don't.
I'm sick and tired of you guys. The last time that came here, you did the same thing. Get the hell out of here. Jesus.
So you're hearing audio from that confrontation. Guardian reporter Ben Jacobs claims Greg Gianforte body slammed him and broke his glasses. Now, 3 Fox News employees witnessed that attack, which happened on the eve of today's special election. Now, overnight, 3 Montana newspapers pulled their endorsements. Gianforte's campaign, though, is fighting back. And they say the candidate, quote, attempted to grab the phone that was pushed in his face, end quote. It goes on to say, quote, Jacobs grabbed Greg's wrist and spun away from Greg, pushing them both to the ground, end quote.
There is a potential game changer on the horizon concerning medical marijuana and children with epilepsy, and it has to do with a study just published about cannabidiol, better known as CBD. It's given to kids as an oil that doesn't contain THC, the psychedelic ingredient in marijuana. Participants in that study saw an almost 40% drop in seizure frequency. 3 patients stopped seizures completely.
Well, live now to the Traffic Network. A brand new report just out this morning suggests the odds of you surviving an accident depends on the type of vehicle you drive. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety finds smaller cars have the highest death rates, and that finding mirrors what researchers have found in crash tests. Larger vehicles tend to be more protective in a crash. So 11 vehicles had a 0 driver death rating during the 4-year study period, and they included the Audi A6, Toyota Tacoma, the Jeep Cherokee also made that list, followed by the Mazda CX-9 and the Mercedes M-Class. Andre?
All right, thank you so much. Well, we move to this. History made at VCU Medical Center in Richmond. The hospital delivered the first sextuplets. A 40-person team, too. They had on hand to deliver the boys and the girls, 3 boys, 3 girls here. Parents say they have been working to conceive for the past 17 years. So now they got making up for all that lost time.
Making up, okay.
They got 6.
That's my favorite.
They got 5
story of the
extra.
day, though.
6 miracles right there, guys.
5 bonus.
you.
1 child and 5 bonus.
5 bonuses.
Yeah.
After 17 years, though, this is like my favorite story of the day.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah,
They're all
that is
healthy
awesome.
too, I hear. So.
Yes, exactly.
Good
Very
story.
rare.
All righty. So, Tim.
Yep. Let's talk about some rain.
Yep.
You know, not so much out there anymore.